like a hotel with gas pumps, right? So I've heard it's round, and I think it's gonna be really good.
I fucking hope so.
You know what I love doing? I absolutely love fixing tech issues on the go. And yeah, this seems to be going reasonably well. Hello, hello, hello! Welcome to my debut stream. Ghast to meet you! That's a terrible introductory catchphrase. If anyone knows any better ones, answers on a postcard, please. This is the first time I've ever done a live stream like this with this setup. If things fall to pieces, or the internet dies, or whatever, that's a fun thing to solve later. My voice is not in a acceptable state. I have lovingly decided to catch some sort of fever in this holiday season, so let's see how that goes. Absolutely what we want to be doing for a live stream. Chat should be coming up on the stream. I'll try to respond to stuff during this stream of consciousness rambling, so feel free to engage and we'll see how this goes. How is everyone doing on this Wednesday night? Hope you're all doing well. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this curious stream of mine. Again, not entirely convinced how it's gonna go, but that's the fun of being live, and you know, fortune favours the bold. For those who don't know who I am, who are watching live or in the ambiguous future, my name is Ghastbuff. I am the Premier Battles go-to promo. If you don't know this handsome face, then hopefully you know the logo, and for the last 3 years I have been a battle rapper in the UK, in case the accent and VTuber model didn't make that immediately obvious. But yeah, if you don't know what battle rap is, it's also known as Have You Seen 8 Mile, as it's explained to people. But the main thing I'm known for in our little scene is video editing, multiple little promotional comedy videos on socials in the build-ups to my battles, and that's something that's come up in our little social space recently. One of our recent up-and-comers, a Mr. RX Southside, had a bit of a discussion lately, where he functionally asked us, what do we prioritise in this little scene of ours? Do we do it for the love of the sport, or do we do it for the money? My hair is interfering with my eyes very poorly. Apologies if the rig is going on some mad blinking spree. Wish I knew how to fix that, but no matter. That is the nature of the beast. Hello, hello. And the engagement that we got off the result of that was very interesting. Most people seem to go with the idea that, well, what money was the general response. But one battle rapper, someone who's very new to our scene, someone who respectfully will remain nameless, made a post in regards to this, and I quote, I've loved battle rap since 2022. 23 years later, I'm a participant, but I'm a creative on a wide scale. I'll also be 33 on the day of my next battle, and I've stated since the start of my journey, I can't stick around in any creative outlet at this age without it financing itself. And this ended up getting more traction and replies than the original post. Now, this battler also makes a lot of posts regarding the promos for their battle, and as someone that was also 33 at the end of their first year, I feel uniquely qualified to discuss this and the state of UK battle rap in general. To be clear, this is not a critique of the guy. I'm not gonna shit on someone for having goals and optimism, but to put it bluntly, you're probably not getting paid anytime soon, and part of the reason is because barely any of us are. Using myself as an example, because of course I love talking about myself. I've been battling for 3 years now, as I said. In that time, I've been the most active in the country. For 2 of those years, I've had, I believe, 32 battles, 26 in person, 6 online. I've battled in Manchester, London, both Northern and the Republic of Ireland, and New York. I am staff of the most active league in the UK, where I run the digital events division. I was in the most viewed UK battle of 2023. I've progressively improved through my experience, where I'm trusted to promote the battles I'm in with the platform I've built for myself, and now I'm reliably placed on a co-main or main event of a small room card. And I've never been paid for a battle. I've gotten 2 things of monetary value out of battle rap. The first was I had 1 leg of my travel covered for one of the Irish battles, and the reason I felt comfortable asking for that was it was a last-minute battle replacement in another country. I was replacing a big name who was unable to make it, and I knew the event had outside funding to cover it, so I didn't feel entirely guilty about asking for some vague compensation. And the other thing that I have received, in terms of compensation for a battle, is a penis pump. Now, it may surprise you, but UK a cappella battle rap doesn't exactly attract the most high-end of sponsors, and there are a whole lot of outside investors. The days where what we do would be pushed by the YouTube algorithm, where big battles would get in circulation of big Facebook pages like Unilad and Lad Bible, they're long gone. Obviously, on-beat leagues like Pen Game are killing it, both in terms of their numbers and their sponsors and their investments. You just have to look at our good man, Mr. Caveman, in the chat today, and the numbers that he's getting in Pen Games. Salute to you, Cave. But realistically, places like our league, Premier Battles, the sources of our income are pretty much restricted to ticket sales and the monthly Patreon, which provides things like early battle videos and priority access to tickets. Nothing I'm going to tell you is going to blow your mind. This is pretty entry-level business stuff. Like, I'm not saying you can't or shouldn't ask to be paid. I'm a firm believer in don't ask, don't receive. What I am saying is that if you say you want paying, that's something you have to be able to justify in some way. Realistically, I'm not going to ask for money from a league I work for. You know, I'd rather that money went somewhere else in terms of the production costs, even if it was towards another battler higher on the card. But for the sake of argument, let's pretend I'm not Premier Battle staff, right? Let's just pretend I am Ghast Buff the Battle Rapper, independent contractor, whatever you want to call me. If I've had some tea, Dojo. My throat is as well hydrated and honeyed and gingered as much as is respectably possible. But so let's say I ask for a fee, right? Let's go with a nice round number, I don't know, 50 quid, I guess. Just something I'm making up. The moment that number leaves my mouth, or I hit enter in a WhatsApp to a league owner, there's dozens of variables that come into play whether or not that's justified. First and foremost being, is that money the league's going to see back? Am I going to get better views than the other mid-card and other mid-card guys, upper mid-card guys, when realistically we're all swimming in a view count range of 1,000 to 1,600 at the high end, and that's assuming the video even monetizes in the first place. So we're talking about pennies. Like, am I going to sell that many tickets minimum? Am I going to get that many people to sub to the Patreon? Do I actually bring eyes from outside the battle rap bubble? And this is another thing that gets brought up occasionally. See, most big name battle rappers, the ones who broke through early on, they brought something from outside just getting in a pit and rhyming words at people. Obviously, there are plenty who are just really, really good at this, and people will be willing to pay to watch them regardless. But if you're coming in as, say, a high-level musician with industry connections, or you're a world-renowned, tour-selling-out poet, like, that should bleed into what you do in battle rap. There's a lot of people that know me for what I do in wrestling. For the last year, I've been the ring announcer for Sovereign Pro Wrestling here in Manchester. I reckon probably about 20% of my ex-followers know me from Sov Pro, and practically all my Blue Sky followers do. Theoretically, these people and these connections are people that I could, in theory, bring into battle rap, but I'm only part of Sov Pro because of connections I made from battle rap. Like, even this, the whole VTuber thing, right? If this channel manages to take off and build my brand and taps into audiences that had never considered the whole, angry poetry thing before, then there's no real loss. It basically means I've just got to deal with opponents making fun of me for pretending to be a 2D anime man on the internet in my mid-30s. That's the sword I've chosen to fall on. But that brings me into, like, the intangibles, obviously. There's so much I've gotten from battle rap that goes way beyond what a couple of notes is to me. I've made literally dozens of friends, connections with some of the most talented people I've ever known. I've gotten a chance to learn how to video edit, write lyrics, produce music from genuine professionals. These are people I've gotten direct access to that I've now been able to call friends, which is the coolest thing in the world. Like, when I do a battle for Premiere, I know I'm getting a video that's professionally edited by Bison Briggs. I know I'm getting professional photographs by Rick Charles. These are people that are also doing it for the love of it. It's not their job, but before I can put myself in a position to start asking for money from them, I gotta make sure I'm making them money. Like, Prem have been very forthright about what they've made, and specifically about what they've lost. Like, figures for the big card we made. Plug 5. We made those public, and yeah, it ran at a loss, but not a dire loss. Like, again, the things like these small events that I'm working my way into the top of the card of, like things like the monthly Patreon, these slowly but surely offset those hits to make sure the big events can keep happening, and that, we're not in a dire situation in the slightest. Shout out Shawnee, of course, you are top of the list, my man. Absolutely. Rap Redux, money on the line for judge battles. I'm not opposed to it, realistically. Like, if people want to put their name forward for that, I'm always going to say, fuck yeah to any judge battle. I always respect anyone that's willing to, like, trust their pen in that regard to, have it actually tangibly affect their record. And again, it's nice promotion in and of itself, but I know there's also been battles that have put up, like, a respectably large chunk of change that, unfortunately still haven't really bled over in terms of view counts. Like Dojo versus Bentner, very good battle. I believe there was something like £400 on the line, which is, but I don't know, man. Like, I don't remember that one. Like, outside of the room it was in, didn't really translate into views online, and I'm not really sure why it didn't. It definitely should have. It was a great battle. But yeah, man, like, I look at it in terms of card placement as well. For me, card placement and the event itself is a big factor in whether or not you should be asking for some form of compensation. Like, in my position, I know I'm essentially being trusted with my name value to get these people in small rooms, but realistically, a lot of people are going to be coming just because it's a Prem event. But if I was to be put on the likes of a Brixton Jam or a Hootenanny or something huge like Ministry of Sound, I'm not the guy that sold that place out. I'm not your Shotty Horror or a Gemini or a Rum Nitty getting literal hundreds in that building. That's an experience for me to get on that card and for me to battle in front of those people, get feedback from the elite of my peers. To me, that's the brand builder. And getting those opportunities is why promo's so important. I've rambled a lot about not getting paid and shit, but let's actually talk promo, why I do it, what my goals are, what the general goal of promo should be, in my humble opinion. Now, don't treat me like an authority on this. These are general observations on what I think worked for me. everyone has something different that works for them. Like, if you go on this very channel, you'll see compilations of the promo videos I made for my first 3 battles. I made a lot. I tried a lot of different things. I made videos weekly, sometimes even daily, and I did it with a very specific goal in mind. When I started, I was part of what Premier calls the Academy series, which was intended for newcomers and inexperienced people. We're running the Academy again this year, and funnily enough, the guy who kicked off this whole conversation is also in the Academy, so I'm hoping this will be of use to those of you in this year's tournament. Realistically, an Academy guy isn't going to sell tickets. You know, let's be real. When you're starting and when you're lower on a card, the purpose of a promo is general visibility. It's showing the league owners that you're happy to push what they're doing. You're not someone who just retweets the flyer or posts it on Facebook with some generic ass caption like, gonna show levels or shit like that. It's a way of getting the battle rap audience who are on socials, who are already attending anyway, to be aware of you, and specifically it's a way of managing their expectations of how to react to you before they've seen you spit a bar. Now, let's say I'd done a more traditional way of promoting, let's call it that. If I'd gone up there and been like, I'm gonna kill this man lyrically, or if I'd done like a diss track on beat, it would have been terrible. I'd be setting myself up to fail because I'd be presenting a very inauthentic version of myself on something that's not my skill set. If I can't get people to believe in what I'm doing in a battle if I don't actually believe the stuff I'm promoting. That's not what gets the best out of me. I had the self-awareness to know what I was doing was tongue-in-cheek, but still respected the overall craft to present myself with my strengths, with what I find funny, without diving into cliches. So after several months of, oh, this guy's actually got a quirky sense of humor, that's a lot of effort he's putting into these videos of his, like, I had so much support in the room before I even started rapping, because people so desperately wanted me to be good that it was a little overwhelming. And the fact I was able to meet those expectations with the material meant I got the ball rolling from the off. That even when I had some frankly diabolical performances, I had things like the New York battle already lined up because people were invested in what I did. I don't necessarily have to promo as much as I do, but I do it because I enjoy it. Like, very recently, had a battle against Mr. Bobby Rex, which is currently viewable on the Patreon, and getting to do the promotion for that was a big deal for me. We were fundraising for a short film that was super important to both of us. I was grateful to be given that shot, and Briggsy deserved as much eyes and promotion for his film as possible. That's something that I could pay forward for him. So I went hard on the video editing, probably the most promo I've done for a battle since my Academy days. And as you can see from these here numbers to the right of me, that's the most engagement I've ever gotten from a piece of promo material. I had guys like Saurus and Solkhan saying how great they find it, how much they're looking forward to the battle, and can't lie, that's a pretty rad position to be in. I suppose realistically the main bit of advice I can give people, if you want to get involved in battle rap and you want to grow in battle rap, if you have a strength, showcase it. If you have any transferable skills, use them. If you have any pre-existing platform from outside of this, guys like Red Wolf and D-Burk have literal hundreds of thousands of subscribers on what they do, and that's something that I would love to see bleed over into battle rap, because that's something that they've put in the work for. If you think you're genuinely a better rapper from people, hop on a beat and call people out like what Pagan's doing right now. Ordinarily, effort and visibility is rewarded. There's a way to do it without coming across as overbearing and obnoxious. Like, if your idea of promo is posting AI images of your opponents and jumping in the replies and quotes of big name battles and trying to go for a very scattershot approach, I mean, that's your choice. But ultimately, that's an image that you're putting in the heads of your peers. That's an image you're putting in league owners and fans' heads, and if the response to it is being called things like fucking overbearing or delusional or lacking self-awareness, I mean, everyone in the scene is approachable. Like, ask people what works, what doesn't work, what they expect to see. Ask them what they're not seeing. Everyone's got different tastes. I know that there's people in the scene who have me as one of their favourites. I know there's people who seeing me on a card makes them less likely to go, frankly. But I don't know, man. Like, the scene that we're in is so diverse and so creative in every possible aspect. Realistically, like, I've completely lost my train of thought, but but regardless, like, the scene's still growing. The Academy is a great chance to, like, develop your skill sets. It's a really good place to try new things, like, network with people. Everyone that we put in this year's Academy, we're trying to make sure that they get booked and that they develop, even if they don't qualify. For me, talent development is a very big part of what we do, and long may it continue, just because of the doors that Academy opened for me, realistically. I've ranted my little cotton socks off. There's not really a whole lot I've got left to add or offer to people. So if people just want to fire random garbage off in the chat, I'm going to, you know, wrap this hopefully not cold tortilla that has been sitting in front of me. Oh, model, please. Please reset. Goodness. Well, okay, never mind then. The model is very unhappy with me having looked away briefly. Let's tech issues.
I shared like a hotel with Ghast.
Okay, good. Tech issues resolved. Like, teething troubles. We were always going to have teething troubles for the first stream. I also had a lovely big mouthful of this tortilla that has been sitting in front of me. And goodness, this is spicy. But what do I expect from the Academy this year? I'm going to be honest, Joe. I'm not actually expecting a lot of surprises. I think a lot of people involved in this year's Academy are quite experienced and quite talented, especially in the South. I think Trubs is really going to struggle picking his 7 qualifiers, just based on the overall, like, baseline level of the names that are up there, and that's not including all the potential newcomers that could be fire. What we always try to do in Academy is we're looking for potential as much as performance, so it's realistically going to come down to what Trub sees and what Stro sees. My good friend Kingsley Thunder, as you know, his tryout didn't exactly set the world on fire, and then he ends up going to win the whole thing. But realistically, I don't think I'm going to have much in the overall say, and certainly not in terms of the brackets making, unless one of the new guys that's coming through is very, very talented. Like, there's guys like Shawnee and Kick and Bentner who are very seasoned. Any of those guys could make the final. I do expect it to be Hamill versus Pagan based on the buzz that they've got. Based on their style, I think it lends itself very well to judge battles as well. So, negative opinion on Twitter by UK Battle Rap Finland concerning US fly-ins financially prioritised over UK talent. What do you mean, Hylas? As in, like, we put our own guys second over US talent? I don't necessarily believe that's the case. I think a lot of the bigger cards that we've tried to put together I'm going to try and eat this tortilla without model flying off the screen, and it's not going well. I just think, like, we have big UK cards, and we try to have big exclusively UK cards. I don't think Americans necessarily detract from that. Again, we're trying to expand our audiences. Again, there are times like we brought over CJ versus Maverick. CJ's been here before. It's always nice to give that feather in a cap of one of our guys that's up there killing it. It's just a shame that the view counts aren't entirely like what we would like them to be, but God, this is good chicken. I don't know. I think the scene's in a very healthy place. Probably my main concern is that we're in a very similar position to where we were kind of in the early 2022, where it feels like there's a bit of a gap between the tippy top guys and our mid-carders. We've lost a lot of upper mid-carders in there, and guys that are like just broken through in a top tier. Obviously we're missing the likes of, you know, your Reverses, your Georgie Roots, Viz taking a bit of a step back as well. So I'd like to see like people like myself, people like Celesta being back is great to see. You know, sort of that bridge the gap of like realistically who could you give to like your Bobbies, your Arcs, your Kojays, who's, you know, earning a shot. Stuff like Black Tea versus Kojay, absolutely fire. I used to love when Kojay would give shots to Viz and Frost in the early days of 2022, the seasoned veteran that I am. But yeah, I think I've given all the feedback that I can give to people realistically. This was a good test stream that I'm very happy we did. I'm very hungry, frankly, so I'm going to wrap up, enjoy my belated dinner. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Realistically, this was a good little test stream. This was a good little toe dip, and I should have made an outro version of my tech issues and welcoming thing. So this is going to be a bit of an abrupt stop, but yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys, and hopefully the next one will be a little more polished. Awesome. Have a good one, guys. Take it easy.